57 wins from last year. Vegas has them at 63.5. Sean, you have your projection at 64, which is right next to where the Westgate has it. Other projection systems think the Marlins are going to be good.
This is another team that the more you look at the roster, the less you hate it. If you compare the Marlins,
you sound like a guy in a bar, like she's the only girl here. And the more I look at it, this is the one I got to hit on tonight, right? The more you look at her,
3 a.m. feeling.
Yeah, but she looks better the more you look at her, huh?
The later it gets, too. So the Marlins, the Pirates, and the Giants, after going through all these rosters and going through all our AL rosters, if you gave me a total win total on the Marlins, Pirates, and Giants compared to the Orioles, Tigers, and Royals, I would clearly take the NL teams. Those Tigers and Orioles rosters are barren compared to what these teams have in terms of upside. That being said, the Marlins have the lowest wins above replacement amongst hitters in baseball, plus 10.8. Their bullpen sucks, but they have a lot of good young pitchers. Sixto Sanchez will probably be up this year at some point, top 20 prospect in baseball. He's going to be their best pitcher since Fernandez. They have some interesting young outfielders who are all kind of in AAA or AA. Monty Harrison, it's a guy who could be interesting for fantasy if he comes up. 9 homers, 20 steals in 56 games at AAA when he got up to that level. So they have a young rotation. They have young pitchers who intrigue me, guys who throw hard, who don't necessarily strike people out. They have 7 top 120 prospects, guys who should get playing time, and if they do something, could be intriguing. But overall, yeah, there's no bet here. I would lean towards the over, but ultimately, I'm not going to be betting an over on the Marlins.
This team infuriates me. Like, this is purely from a betting and there's been a lot of Marlins unders I've had. And, sometimes there's pitching matchups where I don't mind backing these guys and getting an under in there. But there's a lot of players on this team that from a betting standpoint and a fantasy standpoint just infuriate me. Like Lewis Brinson, I thought was going to be unbelievable. He has not panned out that way. Jesus Aguilar, you always see this home run number over 20 with him, no matter where he's at. But what you don't understand is that he gets those in a span of 14 days. And then he goes on a 60-day bender of strikeouts. He's one of the streakiest hitters I've ever seen. So, I can go up and down the roster. Drew Steckenrider can't stay healthy. That's a guy that absolutely should be throwing at least 1K every inning and whiffing it by guys, but he can't stay healthy.
His last name also sounds like a rock band. It's one of the best last names in baseball.
I wonder what his player jersey was. We'll have to look that up, what his weekend player jersey was,
what
his name was on the back. Jose Urena was a guy that I like it when he gets a spot start. He was a good underplay for me, but he does have the ability to be combustible. And so, the roster just up and down for me is frustrating because you see the talent there, but it doesn't always pay off. And, Corey Dickerson has the ability to completely tail off, especially if he's not hitting, say, in Coors Field. So,
and they're also going to trade these veterans the moment they can get anything out of them. So it's not like it's a team that's going to improve towards the end of the season.
Is that the direction that Mattingly and Jeter are going to go from a manager GM perspective? Is Mattingly and Jeter going to try to build anybody up, whether it's the veterans or whether it's some of these new kids coming up, the Monty Harrisons, the Sixto Sanchez's? Are they going to try to get a year or two out of them, show some progress, and show that they're serviceable to having a high ceiling and getting rid of them? Is that what the Marlins are trying to do these days, or do they ever want to try to win again?
Yeah, I mean, they had a really nice pitcher in Zach Allen last year who clearly looked like their best player, and they flipped him for Jazz Chisholm, who's a AA prospect, who's really athletic and has a lot of upside because they're sticking to a plan of trading for as many athletic young players as they can, and hoping that upside comes into something. So if they think that a guy's hit his ceiling and they're not going to get much out of him and his service clock is already running, yeah, you might see them flip guys for another year. I mean, how far out of their contention window are they? The Nats are going to be good for a while still, probably another few years. The Braves are set up to be good for probably 8-year run. The Mets certainly have another few years in them. So the Marlins contention window probably doesn't start for at least 2-3 years at minimum.